Hello, everyone. It's Friday, July the 8th. Really good news on this right here. Since the last briefing, zero new deaths. It's really great. That's great stuff and everything. Numbers are active cases are 2,428. That's not so great. New positive cases 870. It's not great, but it's not bad. Positivity rate is at 8.46, the daily positivity rate. We probably didn't have a whole lot of people test, but I've told you about the home test kits and all that kind of stuff. So that's affecting these numbers surely too. The cumulative rate is at 8.19. Recovered cases almost 528,000. This is not good. We have 263 people that are hospitalized now, 41 of them in the ICU units, and 8 patients that are on ventilators. If you look real close to the map, we're really changing in the wrong way here. We now have predominantly all across our state, we have yellow counties. We have a few still in the green, and we have one now that has progressed all the way to the gold. So that's Lewis County. So we've got to tighten up just a little bit. That's all there is to it. I've been preaching that day after day, but DHHR has identified the first probable case of monkeypox in the state of West Virginia. It's in Berkeley County, and out of respect for the patient's privacy, no more additional information has been released. I think our docs that are on today, Dr. Marsh or Dr. Amjad could talk to you a whole lot more about monkeypox. I think there's plus or minus a little over 600 cases now confirmed in the nation. And so that's something we've got to watch, that's for sure. From the standpoint of our booster shots and everything, I've told you 1,000 times over. You've got to get this booster shot. Now just think about this just a second. 2,428 active cases in West Virginia right now. 870 new positive cases in the last 24 hours. There's 263 people that are hospitalized. Now, let's just think just a second about this. I've said this over and over and over, especially if you're 50 and older. But if you're outside of your window on your vaccinations, your immunity level is almost nothing. Just think of the risk you're taking. That's the thing that I can't get over. How in the world could you have made up your mind to take the vaccination, and we know how safe these vaccines are, and now you're out of your window to take your booster shot, and everybody's saying, you got to get that, you got to get that. And the hospitalizations continue to go up. The number of active cases are almost 2,500. You've got to get that booster shot. You've got to put that up on the top shelf of priority. Let me go, I haven't done this in the last little while, but let me go over a couple of the numbers. In the state of West Virginia, now get this, we have a population of 1,792,000. We have almost 1 million people in West Virginia that are fully vaccinated. But if you'll drop on down here just a little bit further, that percentage is right at 55% of our total population. That's the kids, that's everybody. That's the babies, that's everybody. The people 18 years of age and older, we have 63% of those that are fully vaccinated. Not terrible bad, okay? From the standpoint of the 18 and olders that have had one dose, one shot, it's almost 73%. So there's a delta there of 10%. They've not followed up and gotten their second shot. They need to do it, and they're doing it every day. From the standpoint of our 50 and older, we're at 75% of our 50 and older, and that's pretty good. We want them all, but that's really pretty good. from the standpoint of the people that have had at least one shot. Now just think about this. How does this make any sense at all? How does it make any sense? For the 50 and older folks that have had one shot, 84% of them have had one shot. The number that are fully vaccinated that haven't followed up is 75. There's 9% of those folks, and which is in excess of, let me get this straight, almost 70,000 people. If I'm correct in my math, I'm pretty good at math. Almost 70,000 people have not gotten their second shot that have their first shot that are 50 and older. Doesn't make much sense, does it? From the standpoint of our 65 plus or 65 and older, 82.4% have had are fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated. 79.5 have gotten their booster shots. Pretty close to 82.4. There's not many people that are still out there that don't have their booster shots. Now, let's just think about it. I mean, I say there's not very many people. There's still 60,000 of us, but there's 302,000 in that population. But now just think about this just 1 second, please. The number of 65 plus that has had at least one shot is 91.4%. It's identical to the 50 and older. The number that have had two shots, fully vaccinated, is 82.4. There's a 9% delta there. 9% delta, on people that, between people that are fully vaccinated and people that, and let me get this straight, people that are fully vaccinated, 302,000. People that have had one shot are 335,000. There's 33,065 and older West Virginians. They're walking around out there. 33,000 of them that have not had their second shot. It's big time risk. Big time risk. The vaccine calculator will tell you when to get those shots. All you got to do is call, get online and be registered in. It'll tell you, it'll remind you when to get your shots. All the other COVID information's up on our website. There's 79 outbreaks in our long-term care facilities. There's none in our church community. 70 inmates and 26 staff cases in corrections. I remind you all the time, if you are a renter or a landlord, good gracious, please call us and try to take advantage of this rental assistance program. And the same is true for the homeowner assistance program. I remind you every time about giving blood. Check with your physician. Please do that. And if all's a go and everything, consider it. Just consider it. A couple of days ago, we announced unbelievable revenue numbers and surplus numbers in the state of West Virginia. $1.308 billion, is what we are above estimate. It's the most all-time record. It is unprecedented, unheard of. And I also announced at that time an income tax reduction. We did it to the very maximum that we could do it and provided by the ARPA restrictions. We can't do any more. This is the maximum we could do. $254 million going back to our people and lowering the income tax across the board. Now, we're still tweaking it from a standpoint, it will be a 10% income tax cut all across the board aggregately. Now, let's be fair. Let's be really fair. In the situation we're in, we got a lot of people out there hurting. We got $5 gasoline. We got groceries that are through the roof and everything else. And I blame 1,000% of that on the Biden administration. 1,000%. This country should be energy independent without any question, period. and absolutely all the different things that are going on across the world and everything, we have lost total control. We've got a flood of people coming across the borders, and why in the world we don't do something about it? And this left thinking has got to go. That's all there is to it. It's got to go. You know, our midterms are coming up, and it's going to be a tsunami. That's all there is to it. How in the world could they just sit idly by and say, bring the tsunami on? You know, it is completely beyond my comprehension. But with all of that, we now have in place, now it's got to go to our legislature. I'm surely very hopeful that we'll get a total cooperation and we'll get our income tax reduced, because our people are hurting. And this is the fastest, easiest way to get money in their pockets. Now we got to get this done. That's just plain all there is to it. And everybody's got their pet projects and maybe aspiring to the next office and going to use that pet project to ramp them right to the next office per se. Well, I've told you 1,000 times, told you on day one, I don't want anything. I'm here for the right reason, and that is to serve and to do the great stuff that I can possibly do for all the people of West Virginia. Now, from the standpoint of the tiering, let's just be fair again. How could it be fair, you know, for someone in the highest income bracket? And we want them here, don't we? We want those people so badly it's unbelievable, because those people give us job opportunities like nobody's business. They are the job creators. We got to have them. We got to have them, so we want to recruit them in every way. But I don't see the fairness for us to go all the way down the scale to somebody that's fighting every day, and you know, and they're making $18,000, and we throw them a teeny bone, and the folks that are doing a whole lot better maybe could not take such a big bone. And so, with all that being said, we're going to try to make this equitable to all of our people, and to try to help all of our people, all the people that, you know, that we possibly can. So we're going to get that done. We're having a meeting here as soon as we get through with the briefing and everything. We've met. We've got a lot of different alternatives and everything, and this will be going up to the legislature real soon. Okay, I want to tell you about a young golfer, 16 years old, from Charlestown, West Virginia. His name is Argyle Downs, and Argyle is you know, so much of this, I just got to tell you this, but you know, there was a time that I was skinny and I had brown hair, and I played golf at Tennessee. I played golf for Marshall. I was captain of Marshall's golf team a couple of years. Now, with all that being said, of course, I some way grew out of the brown hair, and some way packed on a whole lot of pounds, but I go back, you know, I think I was 15. I could have been 16. But I won the state junior amateur a couple times. Argyle won the state junior amateur. At that point in time in life, you know, I hadn't hardly ever been out of West Virginia, you know, and to be perfectly honest, this young man is now going to play in a golf tournament at Pebble Beach in California. You know, one of the most famous golf courses, period. He's been involved with the First Tee organization since he was 6 years old. Absolutely, the opportunities for young people today in the world of golf are off the chart. There's going to be 78 teen golfers from across our country that have received an invitation to come. You know how many people applied for that invitation? 3.8 million people applied. It is the most incredible thing in the world for this young man, and he makes us so proud. It's off the chart. So Argyle, you know, I know that it says just last week Argyle became the first ever West Virginian to play in the First Tee National Championship, where he came in third. I mean, it's just great. Last year he became the first ever African American to win the West Virginia Junior Amateur Golf Tournament. We celebrate Argyle in every way. So Argyle, go tear him up. And the event is going to be televised nationally from September the 20th to September 25th. And believe in yourself and absolute Argyle. Just every time you stand over one of those putts, know it's going in. Know it's going in and everything. So congratulations and good luck to you. As far as our grant awards, yesterday I awarded a combined total of $1.9 million in grant funding for a pair of programs working to stop domestic violence and similar crimes across West Virginia. A little over $1 million is going to our Stop Violence Against Women program, and a little less than $1 million, $871,000 is going towards another grant program called Improving Criminal Justice Responses to Domestic Violence, Dating Violence, Sexual Assault, and Stalking. It's good stuff. Really, really, really good stuff. And so we want to encourage, support, but not only that, we want to do something about it. I mean, in all honesty, if you can just imagine the level of how difficult it would be dealing with some level of domestic violence, whether it be dating violence, sexual assault, stalking, all the different things, we need to do something about it all the time. So nevertheless, that's all I've got right now. And again, congratulations, Argyle, and we're really pleased today I didn't have to read any deaths. That's really good stuff.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar.
Well, good morning. And as the governor said, we continue to see COVID spread around the world and in West Virginia. And we do see a slight increase in our number of West Virginians in hospitals. And that is most likely because of the change in the dominant variant of COVID-19. We know in the US now, the BA.5 variant of COVID-19, which is another in the Omicron family, has become the most common variant, affecting about 52 to 57% of the sequence positive cases. And we also know that this variant is different than some previous variants because it has the ability to evade our immune system better than previous variants have, which means people that have been previously infected, particularly previously infected with the Delta variant or the very first Omicron variant, the BA.1 variant, may not have sufficient immunity because of that recovery to fight off the BA.5 variant, which again is now the most dominant variant in the United States. And also we know that people that have been vaccinated a long time ago or have not ever been vaccinated have a much higher risk of getting reinfected with this particular variant. So that's the reason why the governor and all of us are consistent in our hopes that all West Virginians will choose vaccination, because being up to date with your vaccinations is the most important thing that you can do to protect yourself and your family from severe disease or hospitalizations. And it turns out, as I said, I think the last press brief, that if you compare people that have gotten all their vaccines, let's say that you're over 50, that would be 4 vaccines versus people unvaccinated. The fully vaccinated person has a 42 times protection against dying versus somebody unvaccinated, and has a 4 times protection against dying versus somebody who has gotten 1 booster, but not both boosters. And it turns out that in a recent study from the CDC, I believe, there was the estimation that 235,000 lives have been saved from the COVID vaccines, and people who have been up to date with their vaccines, taken all their vaccines. And that's a 58% reduction in deaths in those people. And a recent study that looked at the causes of death in America in 2020 and 2021. And in 2020, COVID was the 3rd most common cause of death in our country. In 2021, in the age group 45 to 55, COVID jumped to the 1st cause of death. So it really does reinforce why it's important to be vaccinated up to date, not to mention long COVID. I'm going to pass the ball to Dr. Amjad to address the monkeypox potential case that we have in West Virginia. And I'll be happy to add any additional information that might be helpful to her comments. So thank you.
Thanks, Clay. The governor did mention earlier that we do have our first probable case of monkeypox in Berkeley County. Of course, private information will be held for now. The Bureau for Public Health has been working with Berkeley County Health Department to notify any close contacts of the individual. We do want people to know that it is the risk to West Virginians is extremely low. You do have to come into contact with someone who has monkeypox, whether it's through sharing bedding, coming in contact with blisters that they might have. But we also want to reassure healthcare providers that if you have a suspect monkeypox case, that you can contact your health department to get advice on how to, get the sample properly and send it to the lab. Our state lab is able to test for monkeypox. CDC does confirm these cases as well, but we still do have our first probable one. Also, to let everyone know, there is a vaccine for high-risk individuals as well as healthcare providers who may come into contact, which is something as an option as well that we are working on. And there are treatments for antiviral treatments for someone with monkeypox if they are severely ill. But Clay, did you have anything else to add for that?
Thanks, Ayn. No, the only other thing I guess I would add is that we have seen this outbreak around the world, which has been fairly unusual. Usually monkeypox is isolated to indigenous areas, which are generally parts of Africa. Monkeypox is related to smallpox, but is much less deadly and much less severe. And in this current outbreak, which is now incorporates over 7,000 people around the world and over 600 people in the US, this is mostly, at this point, a male disease. About 99% of those that have responded to the assessment by the World Health Organization have been men. But as Dr. Amjad said, that you can get monkeypox if you become in contact with blisters or scarred areas, scabbed areas of the skin in somebody who may have monkeypox, or if you touch things that people with the illness have touched during their infectious period. So that's the reason why identifying close contacts is important. And currently of the 7,000 reported people, only 10, I believe, have been women and 25 have been healthcare providers. So it's important to make sure if somebody does present with what could be monkeypox, then you, as a healthcare provider, stay careful, wear protective equipment as you're assessing that person. But otherwise, I think you covered it well, Ayn, and I will throw it back to you or throw it back to Jordan.
All right, well, thank you both. Secretary Bill Crouch is also joining us today and is available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Steve Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Yes, Steve Adams of Ogden Newspapers here. As was brought up in regards to the income tax plan, it's very similar to House Bill 4007 that was passed by the House during this most recent legislative session. Very similar. Doesn't even have triggers. I know that was said last time, but that bill doesn't have any triggers. It's literally almost the same plan that the governor that you presented here on Wednesday. But again, that passed the House and never got taken up in the Senate. Do you think there may be a repeat of that type of situation? Because talking to some members of the House, they seem supportive of what they've heard so far in regards to the plan. But Senate Republicans seem more inclined to pay attention and work on issues related to the property tax constitutional amendment. And I think they've even, Senate President Craig Blair has even proposed doing a rebate in regards to vehicle property taxes instead of a personal income tax cut. Lawmakers I talked to had no heads up on your plan from Wednesday, though I know you said you're going to talk to him here in a little bit. So do you think you've got time between now and the end of the month when you want to see the special session happen to get members of the majority on board your plan? Thank you.
Well, Stephen, there's several different facets to what your question and everything. I'll try to address them as fast as I can. But first of all, do I think we've got time? We should absolutely all here say, without question, we've got people that are hurting, and we need to really help them today. There are great similarities between this and the plan that the House came up with, and Chairman Householder, was the leader of that band and everything. There's great similarities, but there's differences too. If we go back a layer back, we had all kinds of triggers, and it was really complicated and everything. But the net of the whole thing is, at the time that the House, was heading down that path, per the ARPA restrictions and everything, we just couldn't head down that path. It was dead on arrival, because really and truly at that time we didn't have the numbers that we have and we've vetted today, and we've absolutely run by BDO and everything else. Now the net of the whole thing is just this, and you got to ask yourself just this: is, are people moving around, and this is pretty common, are people moving around and trying to position themselves to say, I want to run for governor, I want to be whatever, I want to be at the next office and whatever? You've got a lot of people that are running through this building and everything thinking about, where can I go next and everything. But the net of the whole thing is just exactly just this. Is there anything? We can say, well, we're going to lower the property taxes on automobiles, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. All of us want to do all these things, but is there anything today that has the appeal that lowering your personal income tax has? There's no way. And at the end of the day, if they say, no, we don't want to do that and everything, then that's on them. All I can do is bring the horse to water. Now, I can tell you without any question, we need to get money back in our people's hands today. We absolutely need, as a state, to be the state that's the most northerly, that's the closest to population, to get on the move to try to let the world know that West Virginia is on a pathway of reducing and eliminating their personal income tax. We can come up with all these things that we can get on a soapbox and say, look what I did, elect me. Well, I'm not ever saying that, because, at the end of the day, I don't have anywhere to go other than just to try to bring more and more and more goodness to our people. There is no soapbox here. Without any question, I'm not looking for the next office. I am telling the people of West Virginia without any question, and I've been the one to shepherd an awful lot of the stuff that we've done, without any question, this is the right move. There's no question whatsoever that this is the right move that will bring more and more goodness to West Virginia. And it's a move that really we can do now. And we can come up with a million different, wrinkles and everything and say, this is what the House is doing before. There is many more things that we need to be looking at as we go forward. And basically our economies will drive us and tell us which way to go. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, is there anything more important than this? Is there anything that can get money into people's hands in a faster way? Is there anything that can absolutely send a message to the world and drive more and more and more population and opportunity here? Is there risk? Is there a level of risk in trying to just, in my opinion, pass something that, for the flattery of passing it, and then have no backstop, as we go forward, what is the backstop if things turn down just a little bit? You know, we're telling our counties and all the folks that we're going to underwrite all this. You know, what if things get tough? What if things get really tough? Right now, our counties and everything have a guaranteed income stream. You know, we're going to give that up. We're going to give that up and basically bet on the come. Just bet on what's about to happen. We don't know what's about to happen. You know, that's the very thing. I have tried to mind the store in every way as best I can. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. You know, I'll just sit back and say, told you what the right thing is to do. And really and truly, at the end of the day, you know, if we start sliding backwards, you know, anybody that's got a memory can think of exactly when I walked in this door. And when I walked in this door, we had majorities in the House and the Senate. And when I walked in this door, we were in real trouble, real trouble. And we've come a long ways because we have looked after the store, and we've looked after the store the way it should be. We've looked after these dollars that have come into West Virginia from the federal level in the right way. We've not had any pet projects and everything. We've done what we were supposed to do. I can't do any more. I can't do any more than say, this is the move we ought to make. If they don't want to do it, well, they don't want to do it, you know. And so, but it's a big time wrong move, and I think politically driven in lots and lots of ways. But you don't have that with me.
All right, thanks, Steve. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I just wanted to follow up with the same question I had on Wednesday. Do you have a better idea at this point if you're going to ask lawmakers to take up the abortion issue at the same time? And does that complicate either or both matters? Thank you.
Charles, you know, I've got more insight in regard to that issue and everything. I think it's pretty daggum clear, especially from the House side, that they're not ready. You know, does that mean that we can just kick the can down the road, you know, forever? No. You know, I said we'd do it really soon, and I'll hold to really soon. You know, but I don't think our lawmakers, especially on the House side, are ready, and they're doing their deliberation in regard to how they're going to craft this without any question whatsoever. Our Attorney General is driving the boat saying we got to listen to our Attorney General. I mean, for crying out loud, you know, Patrick Morrissey is a super brain. That's all there is to it. And Patrick Morrissey's a good man. And you know, he's basically saying, you know, that the laws, and we do know this, the laws are archaic, they're ancient and everything. We got to do something. We got to clean it up. We're either going to get our brains beat out in court, you know, or we're going to clean it up. Well, we got to get on with it. That's all there is to it. But will the House be ready by the 23rd or 24th of July? No way. You know, they got to get ready quick, though. And that's all there is to it. So first go round, this is probably going to go by itself. We'll call a special session as soon as I know they're ready. But just to call a special session and them say, well, we're not ready, you know, that's not going to happen. I mean, that's a waste of time.
All right, thanks, Charles. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, okay. I just say this real quick. From a standpoint of revenue, West Virginia is really cooking, but it doesn't mean that we're going to stay that way forever. And really and truly, we can ensure staying that way forever and getting only better if we really, really pay attention to minding the store. From the standpoint of what Dr. Marsh said earlier, and I try to listen to these people all the time, he said, if you're not vaccinated at all, now just think about this. Do you really want to take this kind of chance? If you're not vaccinated at all versus somebody that's fully vaccinated, you have a 42 times greater chance of dying than somebody that's fully vaccinated. Now, Now, I didn't say that. Dr. Marsh said that. The coronavirus czar, the guy that is the brain of brains, 42 times greater if you're not vaccinated versus people that are vaccinated of dying. Got to think about that. You got to just think about it. He has nothing at stake here other than you. Nothing to benefit from other than you. And he is a super brain. And he is saying 42 times greater chance of dying if you're not vaccinated versus people that are vaccinated. Got to think about it. Now, I watch them. Whether it be Secretary Crouch or Dr. Amjad or Dr. Marsh or General Hoyer or whomever. I watch them. I watch them all the time, and I pay close attention to them. General Crane, all the different folks, and all the underpinning below them of great, great, great people. You know what I say, and I've said it a bunch of times, but I haven't said it enough. How blessed are we to have them? I mean, just think about it. Think about the Dr. Marsh, Dr. Amjad, General Hoyer, Secretary Crouch, General Crane, all the different people that we've had over and over and over that have stepped up and come up with ideas and done something. Tell me one thing that has absolutely turned so bad that it's turned into a scandal or whatever it may be. Tell me one thing that really and truly is a hot button in the media and everything where these people have really screwed up. And you can't do that because they continue to pitch great games every day. We are really blessed to have them. Really, really blessed to have them. That's all I've got. We've all pulled the rope together. We want to keep pulling the rope together. And at the end of the day, that's how West Virginia is getting through this, and that's how West Virginia is continuing to thrive. At the end of the day, we give so much credit, all the credit, in my opinion, first and foremost to God above, but secondly to the hardworking West Virginians that make it happen every single day. Keep at it. God bless all of you. Thank you.